Welcome to Gentle Yoga. This is Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs, coming to you from my home studio, not from Urban Yoga Center. Visit us online at urbanyoga.org or at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook. There's someone else joining us. That's what the little sound was. And when you visit us online, there's a tip jar there where you can make contributions to support our classes. We take donations. And you can also check out the class schedule. We're available on Zoom every day. And if you're local, we're available in person, outdoors, safely, at a distance, Thursday through Sunday mornings. And if you're interested in outdoors, or even if you've been coming to join us outdoors, please make sure to check this week where classes will be. Because as of right now, I don't know where the outdoor classes will be this week. So some changes are in the works. And we're not sure if we'll be at the convention center where we've been recently, or back at Ruth Hardy Park where the outdoor classes started, or maybe at Desert AIDS Project because there's a big tent outside there where we're going to be doing some classes. But the start date, last I heard, is still to be determined. Might be as soon as tomorrow. Who knows? So stay tuned. And if you're on our email list, you'll get the latest info, of course, as always, from Kristen as things change. So today for our gentle practice, we're going to start in a reclined posture. I'm just going to give like a profile view here. We're going to lie on our backs with our feet together. So some people like to put their feet together and then lie down. Some people like to lie down and then put their feet together. Doesn't matter, whatever works for you. So you can bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees splay apart. If that's not comfortable, you might just rest the soles of your feet on the mat, let your knees lean towards each other. And if you've got yoga blocks, you might put them between the outsides of your knees and the floor to take the weight of your legs and make the posture more passive. Your hands might just rest on the floor, or they can come to rest on your body, maybe on your belly to feel the movement of your breathing, maybe on your chest to feel your heartbeat. Close your eyes if you want. And just notice your breath, which is all that takes to let it slow down and get deeper, is just shifting your attention to your breath. Starts to change it. Feel your contact with the support beneath you. Take in the movements of your breath, the sensations that accompany those movements. And observe just whatever other sensations are present in your body right now. Scan your body, not aiming to change anything, just noticing what's going on. Taking particular note of anything that doesn't feel so good, if there's any stiffness you detect, any soreness going on. Make mental notes so that you can keep these things in mind as we practice and take care of yourself by skipping or modifying anything you want. Everything's optional but the breathing. By listening to your body and tailoring the practice to accommodate what you have going on, you can find the practice that's best for you. And when your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, just gently bring your attention back to observing your body and noticing your breathing, finding your practice. We can consider these our shared intentions, observing ourselves, taking care of ourselves. You may be in the habit of setting an intention for your practice, maybe something more specific or more personal to you that you already had in mind, or maybe something you just thought of as I said that. Any other intentions you wish to set, you can do so now. And before we begin moving, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth with a sigh. If your eyes are closed, you could let them open. If you have your feet together and your knees splayed, let your arms help your legs out of this posture. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. Nudge your knees towards each other so the soles of your feet rest on the mat. If you had blocks there, move them out of the way because we're going to do some twisting here and the blocks will be right in the way. Draw your knees in towards your chest and hug your knees. Maybe rock side to side, roll in little circles, massage your back against the floor for a few breaths. Then holding on to your left knee, extend and lower your right leg. Reach your left arm out to the side. See if you can keep your shoulder blades on the ground as you draw your knee to the right and turn your head to the left. And just let your breath kind of wring you out. Maybe the twist grows a little deeper on those exhales. Slowly come back to center. And we'll switch legs. Draw your right knee in, hold on to it, extend, and lower your left leg and your right arm. Then draw your knee to the left and turn your head to the right. Bring it all back to center and draw your knees in again. Take some full body stretches. Simple but big movement. Inhale, extend your arms and legs. Reach your hands away from your feet. And exhale, curl up in a ball again. And just do it a few more times. Follow your breath. Your breaths might be shorter or longer than mine. Use the whole inhale to lengthen out and use the whole exhale to curl up. And then we'll start to sit up. So 2 ways you might do that. You might just tip to one side, put your hand on the floor and press yourself up to a seat. Or if you want, you might rock front to back and roll your spine along the floor. I like how this feels, but not everyone does. We'll all meet sitting up. Sit so that you're comfortable. So maybe that looks like this, maybe it doesn't. Find grounding again, just feel your contact with the floor. Sitting tall without being stiff or rigid, so just thinking about the length of your spine can help you do that. Bring your hands out to the sides, rest your fingertips on the floor. Inhaling, reach your right arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, reach across to the left. Lean into your left hand. Feel for length from your right hip up through your fingertips. So keeping your arm and your hand engaged. Inhale to bring yourself upright. As you exhale, float that hand to the floor behind you. Bring your left hand to your right leg. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, invite your body to twist some more. And just explore that with each breath. See if there's a little further to go, working your way up from the waist. And just find out how much twist seems like enough. You don't have to go as far as you possibly can. Maybe enough is less than the most you could do. Let yourself unwind and come back through center. Inhale, lift your left arm up. And as you exhale, reach to the right. Just let your head be wherever your neck is comfortable. Inhale to come upright. As you exhale, come into that twist again on the other side. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, find your way into the twist. And let yourself unwind, come back to center. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head tip back. Exhale, bring your heart back, let your head tip forward and down. Follow your breath for a few more rounds, maybe 10 or so rounds of breath. Maybe the movements grow a little bigger, maybe the breaths get a little longer. And then we'll shift from going forward and back to circles. So similar movement, but as you inhale and come forward, go to one side. As you exhale and go back, go to the other side. And try to stay grounded in your seat. Try to keep both cheeks on the ground, not rock too much, or you could even tip over if you really make big movements. Try to lead with the heart. Sometimes we let the head lead. And if your head is moving around a bit too much, you might strain your neck a little. Let's change direction and take some circles the other way. After your next exhale, sit up straight again. And now we'll more deliberately work on the neck. Let your chin come down towards your chest. And we'll start some nice slow circles here on purpose with the head. Roll your ear towards your shoulder. Look up towards the ceiling. And the other ear towards the other shoulder. Back through center. If you feel any spots in the neck that are tight, you might pause at the tight spot and rock back and forth. Release some of that excess tension. When you finish the next circle, take a few in the other direction. And when you finish the next circle, you can lift your chin and look forward again. We're going to make our way up onto our hands and knees. You might tip to one side, plant your hands, and swing your legs around, however you want to get there. Bring your hips above your knees. Your shoulders can be above your wrists, or if that's too much on your wrists, your shoulders can be a bit behind your wrists, like that. Reach your left foot back and press the ball of your foot against the floor. Feel your heel move away from your tailbone. Feel that leg lengthen, that hip begin to open. Ease off the pressure on your foot and slowly slide it out to the side. See if you can bring your foot in line with your hip like that. And maybe it rests on the inside edge of your foot, or maybe your foot flattens to the floor. It doesn't matter. Just let your foot rest however it's comfortable. We're going to explore a rocking movement here. We want to start out small because a little goes a long way. Be mindful of the inner thigh on the extended leg. That's the spot where it's easy to overdo the movement. So start out small. Exhale, sit back towards your right heel a little. And inhale, glide forward again. And just feel that out. It's okay to gently probe resistance, back away from anything that might be painful. And you might feel this stretch in various places on the outsides of the knee, the outer hip, your sacrum, anywhere between the outer hip and the sacrum. Depending on how big the movements are, maybe start to feel the stretch in the back of the shoulders. So maybe the movements don't get very big. Just find how much movement feels beneficial in your body. Next time you rock forward, shoulders towards wrist, pause with the rocking. Walk your hands forward. We're going to come into like a downward facing dog for the upper body. Arms extended, let your head come down between your arms, let your neck disengage. And walk your hands over to the right, maybe a foot or so. Think of sending your right hip a couple inches towards your right heel. Give a push into your hands. Not a lot of movement. Slowly walk your hands back towards center line and then back in under your shoulders or closer to your shoulders. Sweep your foot back here. Bring your knee down again. Let's take a few rounds of cow and cat pose. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, draw your heart up. Let your head and tailbone come down. Feels different than doing it seated because now your tailbone can move more. Bringing more curve into the movement. Probably bigger movements than the seated version, cow and cat. After your next exhale, come back to table. Reach back, press into the ball of your right foot and take a few breaths. Relax the pressure on your foot and sweep it out to the side. Let it come to rest in line with your hip. And starting out small, explore that rocking exhale, sit back a bit. Inhale, come forward, remaining mindful of the sensation on your right inner thigh. Next time you come forward, pause with the rocking. Walk your hands forward. Let your head come down between your arms. Scoot your hands over to the left. And give that little push into your hands. Walk your hands back to center line and walk them back towards you. Slide your foot back, bring your knee down. Take some breath with cow and cat. Bring your big toes to touch. Send your knees further apart if you like. If your knees are sensitive, you might keep them closer together. Sit back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward. Let your head come down. If your head doesn't reach the floor, you could stack your hands and rest your forehead on the back of your hands, or you could put a block under your forehead. It's helpful to have your head supported in some way to let your neck disengage. Your hands could keep reaching forward, or your arms could go slack. You might even reach your hands back by your feet and let your upper body disengage more fully. Notice what's going on in your body. Notice your breathing, slowing down as you pause. If you've reached your hands back by your feet, bring them forward again. And inhale, come forward and up. And we're going to work on stretching our feet and our hands now. So curl your toes under. Walk your hands in towards your knees. So come up standing on your knees with your feet engaged. And then you're going to sit back towards your heels. Now, this creates a lot of sensation in your feet. I'm going to go ahead and sit on my heels because I can, and that feels good to me. You decide how much sensation in your feet, and you regulate it by how high up or how low down you are. Now, you might even prop yourself. You could put a block between the floor and your butt, or between your butt and your heels, like a spacer. You could do that. Me, I do this a lot, and my feet actually like this when I sit on my heels. So listen to your feet. You can always raise up higher or come down lower. Now for the hands, reach your right hand in front of you with your palm up. We're going to do this stretch for one breath per finger. So take hold of your pinky. Inhale, draw your pinky gently out. And exhale, draw it down, opening your palm and your wrist. And just like that for each finger, inhale and exhale. So now you can estimate how long you're going to stretch your feet because you know how many fingers you have. For most folks, it's going to be 10 breaths. After the thumb, switch hands. Taking your left pinky, one inhale, one exhale for each finger. And then the best part is the counter pose. So after you do that second thumb, tip forward onto your hands, come back to table, uncurl your toes, put the tops of your feet on the floor, and then tap your feet on the floor. And it can be slow or fast or hard or soft. I really bang my feet on the floor, but then I'm also on wall-to-wall carpeting here, so it feels good. If you're on a hard floor, it might not feel so good to bang your feet that hard. We're going to start to stand. You might use blocks here. It can make this transition easier. If you have blocks under your hands, it gives you more room to move your leg when you step one foot forward and then the other. Hang out in a forward fold. You might keep your blocks and rest your hands on them, or your hands can hang in the air or drag on the ground. Play with bending and straightening your legs and swaying back and forth. Heavy arms, heavy head, drawing downward, opening the shoulder girdle, opening the neck, lengthening the back of the body. Whatever type and degree of movement feels beneficial in your body. Gently and slowly shake your head no a few times. Nod your head yes a few times. Inhaling, lift up halfway, press your hands to the front of your legs. Feel for the crown of your head moving forward away from your tailbone as you press your hands to your legs. Exhale, relax down. Inhale, roll slowly to standing. Bring your hands up overhead. Bring your hands together. Exhaling, bring your hands down in front of your heart. Let your hands drop to your sides. Raise your right shoulder towards your ear. Shift it backwards and let it down. And then your left shoulder up and back and down. Inhale, reach out to the sides. Exhale, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself. Bring your chin over towards your shoulder. Let it roll down towards your sternum and up to the other shoulder. Down towards your sternum. Back where you started. Face forward again. Inhale, spread your wings. Exhale, cross your arms the other way. Bring your chin towards your shoulder. Roll it down past your sternum. Up towards your shoulder. Down through center. Back up again. Look forward once more. Inhale, spread your wings. Exhale, twist to the right. Take a couple breaths. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist to the left and take a couple breaths in the twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, let your arms come down. Realizing my arms are going to get cut off. Inhale, out and up. Interlace your fingers. Reach your palms up. And look up at your hands. Lift up your heart. With an inhale, bring yourself upright again. As you exhale, bend to the left. Feel for length through both arms. Try to keep the right heel down. And don't let the right shoulder curl forward past your ear. Inhale to come up through center. And as you exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, let your arms come down. And come down and have a seat on your mat. I'm going to take a sip of my water. Do that whenever you need to. And we won't use them yet, but while I'm thinking of it, if you've got blocks, bring them within reach. Bring your strap within reach. Before we get to playing with those, extend your legs forward and flex your feet back towards you. Do some forward folds before we lie down and play with the props. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your legs. If your knees want to bend here, let them bend. When you inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. When you exhale, think of lowering down. So maybe with each breath, the fold deepens a little. Maybe there isn't so much movement, but a sensation of a little more release in your lower back. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your legs and sit yourself up. Let your arms help your legs. Nudge your legs apart to whatever degree you can. Find the edge of your own comfort zone. Don't force anything. Walk your hands down your legs to wherever you can. So maybe it's your knees, maybe it's your shins, your ankles, maybe it's your feet. Whatever you can do. Again, not forcing, just exploring. Take your time, bring your right hand over by your left hand and take a couple breaths. And slowly move your left arm out to the side, turn your head towards your hand. Turn your thumb down, bend your elbow, reach the back of that hand towards your right hip and peel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm again and slide the left hand back over by the right. Take a couple breaths. Bring your right hand back over to the right leg or right foot. Bring your left hand over by your right hand. Open your right arm to the side, turn your head to look towards your hand. Turn your thumb down, reach the back of your hand towards your left hip, and feel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm, slide your hand back over by your left hand. And swing your left hand back over to the left foot or left leg. Walk your hands up the front of your legs and sit up. Nudge your legs towards each other. Bring the soles of your feet together a good distance away from your pelvis. And we're going to grab the floor. You might reach under your ankles and grab the floor. That might not be doable. You reach over your ankles and grab the floor. Either way, grabbing the floor, walk your hands forward, using traction in the arms. The more engaged, kind of forward fold. Let your neck go. Don't want engagement there. Let your head drop. Breathe into your lower back. And slowly scoot your hands back. Lift your torso. Keep your feet together now. Bring them in as close as you can. Grab your feet, maybe interlace your fingers over the tops of your toes. Wriggle on your seat to tilt your pelvis forward. Bring the bones in your seat closer to the ground. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward with your spine long at first. Maybe your elbows press down on the insides of your legs if you like that. And when the long spine's not coming down anymore, let your head drop, let your neck disengage. Let me trip over my words. Breathe into your hips. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. Let your arms help your legs. Bring your hands outside your knees and nudge your knees towards each other. Rest your feet on the floor. Rest your hands on the floor out past your hips. Wiggle your feet further apart, maybe to the edges of your mat if you're on a yoga mat. And let your knees go back and forth to whatever degree they want to. And we'll come down onto our backs and see about these props. Planting your feet, scoot towards your heels. Come down onto your forearms, down onto your backs. With your heels as close to your butt as they'll go. Now with blocks, you could put a block between your knees and leave it there if you've got more than one block. We're going to play with bridge pose, pressing into the soles of your feet. Inhale to lift your hips up. Take a few breaths at the top of the movement there as you're able. And with an exhale, slowly let your hips down. And we're going to explore bridge for a couple more minutes. Now you can decide, you might continue to float up and down, inhaling to go up and exhaling to go down. You could do that the whole time. Or you could spend part of the time in a supported bridge, which we get to by lifting up, pausing at the top, putting a block underneath, under the sacrum, the bony plate at the base of your spine, and lower down onto the block. So maybe you like to float up and down. Maybe you want to do the more restful supported posture, or maybe split the difference. In supported bridge, it's helpful to think of breathing through the block. Imagine you're sending the air down there to your lower back. This somehow cues your body to accept the support of the block. What feels safe and secure instinctively to your body is being on the ground. Being on top of something like this doesn't feel as safe. Your brain knows the block's not going anywhere, but your body distrusts it. We have a hardwired affinity for the ground. If you choose to keep floating up and down, you might challenge yourself by going higher, moving more slowly, taking extra breaths at the top. Now we'll start to wrap up our explorations of bridge pose. So if you're in the supported bridge, lift up, remove the block, slowly come down. And after the last time you touch down, let's just pause for 2 or 3 breaths. You can move blocks out of the way. Bring your knees towards your chest, hug your knees. Rock and roll on your back to massage it against the floor. Actually, for our sequence with the strap, I'm going to reorient myself for camera work purposes, and also so I don't bump into the wall when I start to come into these next postures. Drawing your knees towards your chest and keeping your sacrum on the ground. Run your strap under your feet, hold one end of the strap in each hand, and reach your feet towards the ceiling without lifting your sacrum. Check in too that the back of your head and your shoulder blades are on the ground, and let's keep all those 4 points on the ground. Point your toes up at the ceiling. Point your toes down towards your face. And let your feet relax. Slide your feet apart. And slowly pull on the strap and slide your feet towards each other. Take your left foot out of the strap, press the back of your left leg to the floor. Hold both ends of the strap in your left hand and reach your right arm to the side. Keeping your shoulder blades on the floor, use the strap to guide your leg over to the left and turn your head to the right. Slowly bring your head and your limbs back to center. Take the strap with your right hand. Press your left hand down on the front of your left hip and let your limbs fall open to the right, keeping that left hip down, preventing the pelvis from rolling to let the right hip open better. Now to come out of this one, we always want to be very gentle, go very slowly, bring those limbs back to center. Lift your left leg, step your left foot into your strap. Take your right foot out, press your right leg down. Reach your left arm to the side. Draw your leg over to the right and turn your head to the left. Try to keep your shoulders grounded. Softly come back up to center. Take the strap in your left hand, press down on the front of your right hip, and let your limbs fall to the left. Nice and easy. Come back to center. Raise your right leg. Draw your knees in. Set your strap aside. Reach your feet towards the ceiling. Reach your hands up, grab your legs or your feet. Play with bending and straightening your arms and legs. Happy baby pose. Whatever movements feel good to you. Whenever you feel complete with your inversion, you can make your way to your final resting pose of integration. So maybe that's Shavasana, corpse pose, legs extended, feet splayed apart, hands resting on the ground out past your hips. But if that's not comfortable, please make yourself comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. You can conclude your practice in whatever posture you can enjoy being comfortably still for a couple minutes, just breathing, letting your breath slow down and deepen as we did when we began. Perhaps focusing simply on your breath or coming back to an intention you set for yourself to reflect upon that, or just giving your mind permission to disengage, to drift, to wander. Start to give yourself some deeper breaths. Invite movement to slowly return to your body, starting small, taking your time, letting small movements gradually lead to bigger movements. Any movements your body seems to want. Whenever you're ready for some bigger movements, and gently sit yourself up. If you like, bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for sharing in practice today. The light within me sees and honors that same light within each of you. Namaste. Again, I'm Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. Please make sure to visit us online at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook or at urbanyoga.org. Stop by the tip jar, check out the schedule, stay tuned for where the outdoor classes will be this week. I'll be here 8:15 and 10 on Wednesday, somewhere 8:15 on Thursday, definitely on Zoom, and 10 o'clock Friday as well. Questions and feedback are always welcome, live or on YouTube. Have a great day.